How far does 2025 Mills Mania go? Let's talk about it. We got to talk about it. We have to. Don't be scared.
Yeah. It's the Locker Room on YouTube. You know what it is. Let's get it. Hey, Locker Room. Yeah, we in the locker room. Texas talk. Yeah, you know what we about to do. Localize every angle's what we really do. We the source, we the pulse of the city too. Landlocked, got the game in the headlock. Localize every time, can't stop, won't stop. Yeah, we top two and we not too. Plugged in daily digital on YouTube. We got taste for days, opinions to give, we got takeaways. If it's up, then it's up, we number one. You don't need to try your luck. Locker room, yeah, we in the locker room. Texas talk, yeah, you know what we about to do. Localize every angle's what we really do.
It is a very interesting day. And it's a very interesting conversation that needs to be had. It is the Locker Room, number one source for Texans digital content. I am Landry Locker. We officially now know that the 2025 version of Mills Mania, it lives on. The question that I think needs to be addressed is how long does it go on? Before we get to that, though, shout out to Sleeper for sponsoring the video. I do have, as promised, a higher-lower pick for Sleeper. And I'm going to go ahead and lay this out for you. First, though, I want to offer you an opportunity to get in on the best game that there is in DFS, which is higher lower. And you can also take advantage of the Locker Room promo code. $20 entry, no deposit needed. If you want to play higher lower, very simple concept. A player's going to have this many yards. You go higher or lower. You can do as many players as you want, but you got to have two different teams in the mix. And if you want to take advantage of that, you download the Sleeper app, you get a $20 free entry, and you get a 100% match up to $100. Use the promo code Locker if you want to get in on that. This is my pick this week. I said that as soon as it became officially official with Davis Mills, I would make the pick. I got the pick. Am I in on Mills Mania? I'll let you decide. So since you have to pick another team, I got Bo Nix over 218.5 against Kansas City. I like Denver this week against Kansas City. I like them a lot. I think people are sleeping on Denver. So I got Bo Nix over 218.5. Nick Chubb, less than 33.5 rushing yards. It's Woody Marks time around here. So less than. And then Davis Mills, 214.5. That feels a little bit low. So I'm going to take the over. Woody Marks, over 16.5 receiving yards. And I'm going to take a Jalen Noel touchdown. This is a 20-1 bet. So if you take the free $20 and you put 5 on this and it hits, then you get $100 in your account. This is what I'm going with. I think Jalen Noel scores a touchdown this week. So that's what I'm going with. Even if you don't want to play this game, then you can get the you can download the Sleeper app and you can use it as your scoring app. So shout out to Sleeper for everything they do. I'm not gonna lie, it's been a long day today. It's been a really long day today. Really long day. So the wifey and daughter, they're already out of town. I'm meeting them tomorrow after Spanky's. I'll see everyone at Spanky's. Hopefully, SNL is going to be at Spanky's tomorrow. We will be there tomorrow from 3 to whenever. I think I'm only going to eat salads and drink water tomorrow. I will buy beers, though. So in the spirit of me eating salads and drinking water, I'm buying the first 15 people that show up to Spanky's tomorrow. I'm buying you beer. So just come up to me and say, hey, I watched the stream last night. First 15 people, you get a free beer on me. It doesn't even have to be a beer. If you're not a beer drinker, that's fine. I got your first drink at Spanky's tomorrow. Texans practice today. We found out that Davis Mills is going to be the starter for the Texans this weekend. Now, I'm very, very interested to see what this looks like. And I don't know how long is Davis Mills, how long is Mills Mafia going to last this year? Is it going to be a long time? Like, are we going to see Davis Mills for, and by a long time, I mean 3 games. Does Davis Mills start against Buffalo? Do we see Davis Mills against the Buffalo Bills? And let's take this a step further. I'm not even going to bury the lead. If Davis Mills, let's say that Davis Mills, and it's not even the lead. It's really just the question that we want to avoid. Because people are so attached to the quarterback position, rightfully so. It should be gang. There's nothing better in sports than having a really, really good quarterback. But what if Davis Mills wins not only the Titans game, but he wins the Bills game? What do the Texans do? How do you handle that situation? Do you just pass the torch to CJ? I would say yes. I would say yes. You just pass the torch to CJ, and that's great team ball, and Davis Mills has held it down. But there's going to be a little bit of pressure at that point on CJ, right? And the question becomes, can CJ handle the pressure that comes with that? And can Davis Mills handle that pressure? And how are the Texans going to handle making that decision? Making that type of decision? I'm asking the question, Mr. All Out Mayhem. I'm asking the question. Do you not want to answer it? What are you scared of? Why is this a scared thing to have? There's been like many memes and like situations with people that message me and message Stoots on SNL that we need to stop it. I'm the only level-headed person when it comes to this Davis Mills thing. I think he had a good performance against the Jags, the best quarterback performance that we've seen since CJ Stroud last faced the Buffalo Bills. And I think CJ Stroud is the starting quarterback and he takes over no matter what. But what if Davis Mills beats the Titans and then beats the Bills? What do you do? You just hand it back to CJ? I think the answer is yes. But how does that go and what's the situation? I don't understand why talking about quarterbacks and talking about the quarterback situation has turned into your uncle's Facebook page. Where suddenly it's like you're arguing about politics or something like that where there's no middle ground. It's not like CJ Stroud has just completely set the world on fire since we've been watching him this year and last year and since his rookie year. So why is it so crazy to talk about Davis Mills and praise Davis Mills and assume that Davis Mills does something well? This is not about Davis Mills being him. No one in their right mind thinks that Davis Mills is him. Davis Mills is not a franchise quarterback. We learned that a long time ago. But if even the biggest CJ Stroud defender, when you talk to him, it's always about surroundings. He has this around him. He doesn't have this around him. He doesn't have the receivers, the offensive coordinators, the offensive linemen. Like, his surroundings are terrible. It's you hear this all the time when it comes to talking about CJ Stroud. But the question I have is, what did Davis Mills have around him when you became so disgusted with him and you knew that he wasn't him? Because I was right there with you. I covered it. I had no choice. Most butts in seats were empty. There was nobody in the stands when Davis Mills was playing quarterback and when he was the starter for the Texans. Nobody was in their seat. And I'm not knocking them for that. I think that's smart. The reason Jack Easterby and the reason they made changes, the reason he's gone, is because there weren't butts in seats. So I'm not knocking that. But I didn't need Davis Mills to have perfect surroundings for me to not know he's not a quality starting quarterback in the NFL. It was common sense. We saw it over the course of 2 years. Now, his peak was never higher than CJ Stroud's, ever. He can't hold CJ Stroud's jock. We all know that. But he never had the surroundings that CJ Stroud has had in his 3 years. But we use CJ Stroud's surroundings to justify what is going right and what's going wrong. And that's the problem that I have when it comes to the direction that this conversation about Davis Mills versus CJ Stroud has taken. It's a weird, no gray area, no nuance type of thing. And I'm confused by it. I don't understand why. Why are we doing this? What's the point? You don't have questions about CJ Stroud being a franchise quarterback at this point? If you don't have questions about that, I don't know what to tell you. And it almost just feels like what Deshaun Watson did for this organization and the visual that he gave you is just completely eliminated because of everything that happened and all the extra stuff that has nothing to do with football. I'm not going to rehash that I thought that Deshaun changed after he signed the contract. I'm not going to rehash his off-field stuff, which I always tried to be very fair to Deshaun when it came to discussing that. But what I do know is when I watched Deshaun Watson play football from 2017, when he was thrown to the Wolves against the Jags, and then won that Thursday night game against the Bengals on short notice, set the league on fire. And then in 2020, even when they were one of the worst teams in the league, you sat there and you said to yourself, man, if he would have been drafted by the Chiefs instead of Patrick Mahomes, he might be Patrick Mahomes right now with those surroundings. I remembered that. And Deshaun Watson's surroundings were never perfect, but I always felt like there was a franchise quarterback there. For some reason, that has completely been forgotten. And we now have gotten to a point where it's either CJ Stroud's the worst quarterback ever and he sucks and he should be benched and Davis Mills is better, which I think is a little bit dramatic, or we've gotten to the point where it's everything sucks around CJ Stroud, and anything that makes CJ Stroud looks bad sucks. I don't know how we got to this point, but I hate it. I hate it. And I do wonder what happens when Davis Mills goes out there and does whatever the hell it is that he does. It almost feels like there's a portion of people, and I don't like to generalize, but it does feel like there's a portion of people that are almost rooting against Davis Mills for whatever reason, even if there are some things that he has done better than the starting quarterback has done. Let's hear from Davis Mills. Let's hear what he has to say about the wins and what they've done for his confidence.
Obviously, going out and winning games adds to your confidence and comfortability out there. But, I mean, I think every week's different. We got another tough opponent. Looking forward to Tennessee this weekend. And, I mean, we got to prepare extremely well this week and go out there and execute. That's all it boils down to. So that's what I'm trying to do, and that's what we're trying to do throughout the week.
And now Davis Mills has become a robot, even more of a robot than he already was. And he is very, very, very robotic. I'm really kind of flabbergasted by what this has become when it comes to talking about the quarterback. And when it comes to what will happen if Davis Mills, like let's say if Davis Mills passes the torch to CJ Stroud after the Titans game, great. That's awesome. That's awesome. And then we see what happens with CJ Stroud. And if CJ Stroud goes out there and loses to the Bills, does that mean Davis Mills is better than CJ Stroud? No, it doesn't. Does it mean that it doesn't mean a lot? But there's like some sort of point that we've gotten to. And I don't know if it's fear. I don't know if it's I don't know if it's that. I don't know if it's that there's like some sort of reservation. I don't know, but it is a really, really weird situation with Davis Mills. Also, today at practice. So we found out that Titus Howard has cleared concussion protocol. Jalen Petrie and CJ Stroud have not, so they'll be out. Let's hear from Titus Howard. Titus Howard is going to be blocking for Davis Mills. We'll get back to this conversation. Let's just take a little break, let it breathe a little bit. Let's hear Titus Howard, full locker room media availability. Let's hear Titus Howard, and we'll talk about the offensive line too. Let's hear what he had to say during his media availability about coming back, potentially playing guard, and everything else. Let's hear from Titus. And 3, 2, 1. We'll hear from Titus in a sec. Also, with the Texans, D'Amico Ryans. D'Amico Ryans is a big fan of Next Man Up. Here's D'Amico on Miles Bryant and other guys stepping up. Here's D'Amico.
Have some guys who you know are going to start, so their preparation doesn't change. As a coach, is there any like extra appreciation when you have guys like Miles, Trent, even Davis to a certain point that they likely aren't going to play in certain weeks, but they're able to contribute when you need them most?
For those guys, if you're call it a backup in this league, like I'm always impressed with backups because you get the least amount of reps. When your name is called, you're expected to go out there and do it just as if you got all the reps. So it's unfair to the backups in a sense, but also if you are a backup, like what's your preparation like in the background? It has to be spot on. You have to be on top of. You have to have that A+ mentality, right? When you're in the classroom, you're studying at home because you know you're not getting that rep physically. So those mental reps have to kick up, and you have to dominate every rep you get.
Okay. There's D'Amico on the next man up mentality. And I love the next man up mentality. And I actually think D'Amico is prime example of this. But the way in which they play with Petrie, I just wonder like how necessary is it? And that's really the thing that I don't want to say it's reservation, but like when it comes to me talking about Jalen Petrie, I have reservation when it comes to talking about his importance, because I think the Texans defense is elite with or without him. And I think the stuff that he brings to the table could perhaps be overvalued. And it's almost like a Patriot way type of vibe, if that makes sense. And that's the thing with Petrie that I wonder, like, okay, he looks great in this defense. Although at his original position, safety, he was completely lost in D'Amico's first year, and he even got benched. Is the fact that Petrie looks great a representation of how great he is, or is it a representation of perhaps the Texans and D'Amico valuing things almost in like a Patriot way type of thing? That's the thing that I wonder, because the absence of Jalen Petrie doesn't really make me any more concerned about the defense. Like, to be honest, when you told me that MJ Stewart was out for the season, and we'll get to the Titus Howard in a second. I'm getting that loaded as we speak. But when you told me that MJ Stewart was going to be out for the season, or you told me that, I don't know, any linebacker was going to be out for an extended period of time, or any D lineman, like I would be more concerned than the Petrie situation, because I feel like they can make it work with what they've got. But let's hear from Titus Howard. As promised, here's Titus Howard talking about getting ready and blocking and perhaps moving positions.
Officially cleared and back at it.
Oh yeah, feel good to be back. A little long process last week, but I'm glad to be back.
What symptoms did you go through? What was
Sick, throwing up, headaches all night, can't sleep. So, but I recovered pretty fast, so I feel good.
I know you guys have seen the defensive front that D'Amico calls the strength of the Tennessee Titans. What type of things can you take from that last game that brings you into this one?
If we have them in front, we should be good. Those guys got talented defensive front. They play hard and physical, but if we can handle those guys up front, we'll be good on offense.
The most important thing for you guys now is just consistency on offense. What did you see when you watched the Jags game that you like, that you believe you can do going forward?
Everybody up front was just playing good, playing fast. And they were playing together. Seemed like everybody was knowing where they were supposed to go, and it was able to help the offense, especially in the fourth quarter. Those guys played phenomenal up front. Kudos to them. They put in the work all week last week. Those guys worked hard all week. And, Davis was getting the ball out pretty fast, helping the guys out. It's just a good offense. It was really smooth. And so we can build off that because, Jacksonville had a good front too. And those guys, played their ass off. So, kudos to them, and we can keep it going and build off that for the rest of the season.
What's it? Go ahead. Sorry, but I know you weren't out there, but just to be able to have success offensively in a year that you guys have struggled, how good does it feel to see your boys go out there and contribute to a win finally?
Oh man, I was on the sideline, so I was able to see it right there in live action. I was happy, man, to see the success of the team, see the success of the offensive line, knowing that those guys played the way they played. It was phenomenal, man. Just like I said, when I got in this week, I told those guys I know I didn't play, but that's something I'm trying to build off too, which I'll put on film.
You've been sitting next to Davis for 2-3 years?
4 years.
4 years.
Yep.
Is he as quiet as they say, or just got to get the right setting?
Davis not quiet at all, but he's a good dude, man. I'm happy to be his locker mate. Me and Davis been here. Davis is one of the longest tenure guys on the team, so I've known him for a long time. I always known what he was capable of doing, so it's great to see him be successful, and I'm hoping he continue to do that.
What's it like watching Trent Brown play right tackle?
Oh man, Trent's massive. Trent's always been a great player. He's one of the best guys when I came into the league. One of the guys I looked up to playing, just watching his film, and him being a vet, one of the older guys on the offensive line. I still come to him asking him for help, for advice on stuff I'm going through on the field and stuff like that. So it was no doubt that when he got in, he was going to be able to play at a high level.
Is it interesting to watch? Because I know y'all are bigger guys, but like he's huge. Is that?
Nah, man. Trent's the biggest guy I ever seen, other than like Shaq. No, Shaq came here last year, bro. And Trent is just as big as Shaq. So it's crazy.
You ever play against Julius Peppers?
I haven't, but I did see him in the Hall of Fame last year. He is a pretty big DN. So that's crazy.
You mentioned your symptoms, and that sounded pretty bad. Was that frightening to you to be dealing? I mean, I know injuries are part of the game, but those kind of symptoms seem really scary.
Yeah, I had a concussion like in 2021, 2022. So I kind of knew what I was getting into. So the process, like you said, is a tough situation to go to. So it's not something you can rush back from. It's all symptom based. So when you start feeling good and your symptoms start going away, that's kind of how the concussion protocol. You can't be all right, we're just gonna rest this guy for a week, because you rush him for a week and then he come back and do something, and then you be oh yeah, I got the symptoms back. You start the process all over. So you kind of gotta wait till those symptoms kind of go away for a couple of days to even start the process of doing something.
But dark rooms. Sorry.
Yeah, just try to stay away from too much light. Just try to get a brain a break.
So I
was able to do that, and I feel good these past couple of days. So I'm happy to be cleared.
Yeah, very happy. That's good.
You guys moved a couple of guys around throughout the course of the season. Do you have a preference about where you want to go now that you're back in the lineup?
I don't know, man. We'll see. That's up to the coaches. I'm just here, doing my job. So we'll see how they go.
There you go. So my prediction is, and I'm just calling my shot. I'm not Babe Ruth or anything like that. I think that Trent Brown starts at right tackle. I think Titus Howard starts at right guard. I think Andrew starts at center, and then I think Patterson starts at left guard. That would be me. That's what I would do. Now, they might start at guard, but that would be what I would predict would happen. Would be that. But Trent Brown is a massive human being. Absolute massive human being, and you got to ride that out. I didn't even think it was a possibility, to be honest. If you've ever seen Trent Brown walk, it does he almost if you would feel like you'd have to help him across the street. That's the best way I can put it. You ever see someone struggling and you're like, all right, I got to help him or her across the street. That's what Trent Brown looks like at an NFL football practice. I'm serious. And I'm not saying this insulting. I already lost the bet to Cody Stoots. And by the way, speaking of Cody Stoots, join us tomorrow at Spanky's. We'll be out there at Spanky's Sharpstown. First 15 beers on me. First 15 beers on me, because I'm drinking water and eating salad. Because I gotta go meet my girls out there at my mom's house. Shout out to my mom. Love you very much. Keep fighting. But that's how I feel about Trent Brown. If you watch him, it's man, I want to help this guy across the street. This sumbitch played a football game the other day. He looked great. I thought he was going to be on the injury report. The dude has a x-ray on his right foot carrying 400 plus pounds, and he's not even on the injury report. So I'm done predicting the Trent Brown thing. I'm going to eat what I lost on the bet on Tuesday. I think it's a Whataburger all-time favorite and a Whataburger double meat, large fry and a large onion ring. I'm going to have to do that. But I'm done betting against this guy because it's weird. It's weird. He looks like he can never play a football game. He plays a football game. It's a good football game. He has an x-ray. He's walking like crazy. He's not even on the injury report. So I don't know what the hell I'm supposed to think about the Trent Brown situation. But if you ask me, educated opinion, I would say the offensive line is going to be Trent Brown, right tackle, Titus Howard, right guard, Jake Andrews, center, Jared Patterson, left guard, and Ariante Arosuri left tackle. That's my guess. No, it's not even a guess. It's what I would do. That's what I would do if I were coaching the Texans. But I'm not Cole Popovich.
Pop, lock, and drop it. Pop, lock, and drop it.
Wasn't that a jam?
Pop, lock, and drop it. Pop, lock, and drop it.
Let's go to the chat.
You ain't never hate.
Swarm. Vigilante says, are you comfortable re-signing CJ to $50 million? I don't think CJ at this point, like if nothing improves or we don't see anything else, he's not getting an early extension. That would be weird. It's unnecessary. Early extension, no sir. Cam says, hit on my sleeper picks today. Shout out LL. Yes, sir. Congratulations to you. Let's keep it rolling. Download the sleeper app, $20 free. Use the promo code Locker, get 100% match up to $100. Jo says CJ is a starter point blank, period. This isn't a convo. Who started it? This is stuff I'm talking about. Like no one's saying that. Just keep the middle ground, man. This isn't politics or anything like that. Like you don't have to go gang. You don't have to go gang. Yeah, CJ's a starter. We know that. Ain't no one debating that. What are you doing there though? Jo, I'm just asking, brother. Like that's a profile pic, dude. I'm not trying to hate, sir. I'm just asking, like, what are you waiting for there? What's going on there? Got your mouth open and stuff. That's a choice. That's a profile pic. That's a choice. I gotta turn around. That's a choice right there. He's mad and he's angry and he's waiting for something. I don't know. What are you waiting for, Jo? No disrespect. I'm just asking. What are you waiting for, sir? Not John. Would you rather have Jaden Daniels than CJ? Yes, for sure. On the rookie contract, year 2 of the rookie contract, yes, I would. I would rather have Jaden Daniels than CJ Stroud. Is that bad? Yes, I would rather have the extra year of evaluation with Jaden Daniels. Yes, I would. Is that bad? I don't think so. Is that a hot take? Chat, would you rather have right now, would you rather have Jaden Daniels or CJ Stroud? Yeah, I'd rather have Jaden. They're best friends. I mean, Jaden had the better rookie year. Sophomore year got hurt. Yeah, I'd rather have Jaden Daniels. Is that bad? Little Jesus says, hope CJ doesn't get hurt every year, especially concussions. I mean, that's not his fault. That's not his fault. But yeah, of course, we all hope that. Primetime V says, shout out to Primetime V. That dude can grub, bro. He would eat that all-time favorite and that double meat, double cheese, and that onion ring and that large fry. He'd be able to grub it. Just like I'm gonna have to grub it on Tuesday. He says, reports saying Trent Brown's still in the ISO. Dude, he's been walking good. It's weird, man. The Trent Brown thing is really weird. It's it's crazy. Like he's not on the injury report. He's chilling. It's almost like he wanted to be hurt. I don't know. He's a freak. Trent Brown is a freak. And what they list him at, like weight and height wise, is insane. It's absolutely insane because they have him at 6'8", 380. He's damn sure not 380. He is over 400 pounds. I don't even think he's 6'8". I think he's closer to 6'10" than 6'8". So I don't know who does this. Like normally they go different, but that's a little bit crazy with that. Kareem or Karam says, what happens with Ingram? Same thing with Izza. I love Ed Ingram, man. He's my guy. I just don't. Some people are saying you move Titus to left guard because he's played left guard. and you leave Ed at right guard. Do we really think Ed was as good as the rankings were? Like, do we really think that? Like, their first choice was to play Titus at right guard in camp. If I were betting, like if you asked me, what will the starting offensive line be? Just me. Your guess is as good as mine. I would say Brown, Howard, and then figure it out. Now, the other thing about this is I don't think Brown's going to play from now to the end of the season at right tackle. I don't know if he's going to perform as well as he did last game. So it might be a short-lived type of thing, but I think they're just going to ride the Trent Brown hand as long as they can. Now, you say, well, what move Titus to the left side? If you think like I think, and you think that Trent Brown's not going to be able to play the remainder of the season and eventually he's going to need some sort of rest or something, he had an x-ray. Then why would you move Titus to a whole different side at this point? Like, if you could turn injuries off, I always use the Madden reference. Like, if you could turn injuries off, then yeah, maybe you could move Titus to the left side and you can move Ed to the right. Ed's knee brace, maybe I'm putting too much stock in the knee brace. The knee brace is effing huge. It's absolutely effing huge. I'm bad. My wife's sending me a picture of my daughter sleeping. Look at that. That's a spoiled baby right there. But I don't know that Ed is like 100% ready to go. I think maybe Buffalo is the next move, and then you figure it out. Because I don't know if Trent Brown's going to be able to play 2 games in 5 days. So maybe Ed, it's kind of like a chess move. Like if Dalton Schultz was listed as sick and he has an illness. If he's sick, do you want to rest him for Thursday and hope you can get by Sunday and then figure it out? So I think there's also that kind of element. I think with Trent Brown, you just want to ride it as long as you can. So that's kind of like the chess move that happens when it comes to Ed Ingram. Someone asked the CJ Jaden Daniels question. Let's look at the answers on that. Danny George says Jaden Daniels. Melvin says CJ. Jaden. CJ bro. Middle ground. Sophomore slump 1 versus sophomore slump 2. So yeah, the CJ thing is a little bit different. But yeah, that's the Ed Ingram thing. That's kind of how I look at it with him. Davis Mills. I don't know if he's calm, cool, and collective, or if Davis Mills is just kind of like the same tone the whole time. But this was Davis Mills being asked about what rattles him. Here's what he said.
Not much. I've kind of always had that mindset, just being calm. I've always been pretty analytical, where stuff that happens in the past like doesn't bother me too much. I can't do anything about it, and I'm ready to kind of attack what's ahead and what's in the current moment. It's funny. My wife used to get mad at me sometimes, like she'd ask me a question or kind of want to argue a little bit, and I like wouldn't react. She's like, "Why are you not mad?" I was like, "It is what it is. Like, we'll figure it out." So,
okay, that's about as funny as it gets with Davis Mills. That was kind of a little bit of behind the scenes with Davis. I don't know, man. Like it feels like I don't feel like Davis Mills is getting like a complete fair shake. And that's even from like his extreme supporters. But I think even like the criticism, I don't feel like for the most part, I don't want to say like everyone or anyone, because you know I like to not generalize. I don't feel like Davis Mills gets a fair shake, because I feel like his past is getting held against him, but his surroundings weren't great. They were the worst surroundings in football. Like, one of the years that Davis Mills started, they had 50 mil dead cap, 50 mil plus dead cap. They didn't have a first round pick. They had the worst coaches in the NFL. He played for Lovie Smith and David Culley. And it was a complete disaster. But even through that, it was obvious he's not a franchise quarterback. Like, we all know that. He's not a franchise quarterback. But are we positive that CJ Stroud's a franchise quarterback? I'm asking the question. And if the answer is yes, then why is that not clear as day? Because of his surroundings, right? Well, Davis never had those. I didn't need those to know that Davis Mills isn't a starting quarterback. But he never had those. But they have a common opponent this year, Davis and CJ. Who looked better? Biggest weakness of the Texans. Red zone scoring. Looked okay with Davis on the back end. Why didn't it happen there? So maybe they just don't have a franchise quarterback on this roster, which might be a possibility. Who knows? Your guess is as good as mine. Shout out to Texans Turf. I was just in my backyard. I didn't even want to stream today. I'm not gonna lie. I was chilling. I was watching him at Monday Night Football. I was watching all the NBA games, everything like that. And I was enjoying my turf that Dan put up. Shout out to Dan from Texans Turf. I shopped around and I finally found Dan. It is a stressful process to shop for turf, but I found it. And a lot of people around town, they've done the same thing. They appreciate it, and you'll appreciate it as too. Putting greens, playing surfaces, your home value goes up. The neighbors are jealous. Always green, always clean. Texans Turf. Shout out to Dan the man. He is the best in the game, and I can promise you that that will be the best gift that you can give your significant other when it comes to gifts. 100,000%. SSG says he's buying the Money Mill stock. It might be too high right now. It might be too high. Don't know if that's a good thing to do. Applejack says Davis was always underrated. Is he underrated or overrated now? That's the question. That is the question with Davis. So D'Amico Ryans today in his press conference, he ruled out Fairbairn and Jalen Petrie. And this was the most interesting thing to me when it comes to the state of the Texans and the discussion about Davis, CJ, all that. And I want to talk about this on the back end. First, though, I want to hear from Woody Marks. We talked to Woody Marks earlier this week, but keep this in mind. And I want this. I want you to really, whatever side you're on when it comes to Mills or CJ, I want it to be factored in that when the news came out that CJ Stroud was going to be out and Davis Mills was going to be in, the betting line moved a half a point. It moved a half a point. That's interesting. And some will say, well, they already factored in. No, because it went off the line and then it moved a half a point. What exactly do we make of that? We'll talk about that on the back end. First, though, let's hear from Woody Marks.
Part of a fourth quarter, I like that in your career.
Oh yeah, we kind of came back my college career versus Auburn and Mississippi State. I was down by I think 21, 28, one of them. We came back. That's when Mike Leach was our coach at Auburn.
What did you guys say going into that fourth quarter being down? What was kind of the mindset for the offense?
We've had that mindset since Saturday. Watched the video in our team room. It was a boxing match. The guy kind of dislocated his shoulder. The beginning of the fight, still fought through. And it was late in the rounds, and he finally won. He knocked him out. He won. So that's what we kind of leaned on coming into fourth quarter. It was that boxing match right there, and we found a way.
What did you see from Davis yesterday and how he ran the offense?
Just poised in the moments when we needed him the most. He was very poised, getting the offense ready, pointing out if we had blitz pickups and stuff. He did a great job with that.
What are your touchdown? Take us through the score, what you did to get outside. And what do you like about that play that Nick called?
I was outside, pin and pull, get tail around. He's a really fast lineman. He can roll. Kind of seen him in Minnesota do the same thing. We had it at USC, so I knew he was going to be good coming around that corner, making a block. We wanted to get in the touchdown, no matter what. Kind of been doubters on that, so we had to try to make a statement right there.
On Davis's touchdown, you mentioned you, and he said that he noticed they're in zone and you were checked down. Kind of, what was your perspective on the play? You probably watched it by now, just kind of what you saw in that one.
I had an out route coming through and going out. I kind of knew I was covered. The linebacker was sitting over there. I saw Davis coming out. I was like, I know a man, if I go up the field, he going to trail me. And then when I looked back, I was peeping out the side of my eye, and then I seen him just keep trailing me. Then I just went and boxed him out, let the safety try to get there. He had the bubble around me. I knew Davis was going to make it to the touchdown.
What did you feel like clicked offensively as a whole in that fourth quarter?
I would say everybody just executed, playing together. That was the main thing, just playing together. We had new guys everywhere on the O-line, so everybody just playing together. We was rotating. I think the O-line, they really found the click on the sideline with Cole and everybody. We just all talking it through. It was very positive on the sideline.
Do you think having a thrilling comeback victory like the one y'all had yesterday can help build momentum as y'all try to finish the season strong?
Yeah, for sure. Just knowing that what we capable of in that fourth quarter, scoring points. Really haven't did it all year. We had sparks, but just trying to be consistent with that. Just scoring points and not making our defense be on the field all the time.
Obviously watching that comeback was really exciting. What's it like to be a part of something like that when you're just scoring at a pace like that?
It's amazing. Just seeing the smiles on everybody's face. Everybody doing good. We just going out there and balling, getting the touchdown. You see the defense hyped up, want to get off the field for us and watch us on the sideline, standing up, not just sitting on the bench. It's just exciting. It's just exciting seeing them come on the field with us and celebrate too.
Woody, you and Nick have divided up playing time all year. Did you know kind of going in that you would play that much and get that many times?
Hey, bro.
No.
Alpha Aaron's here.
A game, time decision.
Woody, how exciting was it to see Shelby break his score that touchdown at the end of the game?
It was exciting. Just going back to our team, our ball man, we kind of go back and it was some clips of them in college, a couple D linemen, just scoring touchdowns, and it kind of did a flashback right there.
Woody, you all had a lot of success on that final drive running the ball. What can you say about, the offense's trusting you and Nick to keep the offense kind of going on that final drive, and also the offensive line getting pushed, setting up holes for you guys?
Yeah, I want to say it was trusting me and Nick. It was trusting the O-line. Them guys been putting in work. No matter the situation, people down, new people had to step in. I think them guys did a great job. I say all of them collectively, them 5 plus 3 extra who came in did a great job. It's just going in and want to fight, want to go in and run the ball, coming on the field. We knew what we had to do in the red zone is punch it in, get a touchdown. We failed one time with punching in, we got a false start, but just they was really amped up, so they had me amped up. We got to punch it in, we want to run it in. Like that just made me feel happy right there.
With the talk of playing through pain, how are you feeling physically? It seemed like you got banged up a little bit and then went back out there and performed.
Yeah, I'm always be good, no matter what it is. I'm always be good. It just happened, got stuck in the turf. Then it kind of felt weird. I kind of spooked myself out, and then just was walking off to the side. I didn't know what it was, and then when I got to the side, I was like, I already went away. I'm good.
Yeah, but given the previous late game woes that you all had, like, what do you hope winning a game this close can do for you all?
Just learn from it. Never put us in that situation. We want to come out and play like the fourth quarter, every quarter, like we did. Just not make it hard on ourselves. Go out there and play complementary football on the offense and defense, and on special teams.
Shoot, and on special teams, good Lord. Jeez. They didn't compliment much the other day. Woody Marks is an elite piece of an RB room. I would have liked to have seen the Texans draft 2 running backs in this draft, maybe one in the second round. And this is on record. Travion Henderson had a pretty good game today. Judkins has been good. Like, Damian Pierce and Dare Ogunbowale lasting 4 years in a running back room is not ideal. Woody Marks is a dog. You just might be asking him a lot to do. But moving forward, we don't need to get ahead of ourselves too much, but he needs to be fed the ball in the pass game at least 5 times, and obviously a little bit more. But he's an absolute dog. He knows what the hell's up. He deserves the Gucci. He deserves the Gucci. I'm a dog. I'm a dog. I'm a dog. I'm a dog. Let's reset everything that's gone on before we get out of here and get ready for Spankies. Before we do that though, just a reminder: 3:00 tomorrow, Spankies, Sharpstown. See you there. When you pay, you know what you should pay with? You should pay with that fresh new Texans debit card, courtesy of TDECU. The TDECU Texans debit card is awesome. CJ Stroud has it. Cody Stoots has it from SNL, which you can hear and see Monday through Friday right here on YouTube at 4:00 after me and Cody are on the scenes at practice. You get 15% off Texans gear with the TDECU Texans debit card. TDECU.org/Texans. Membership required, insured by NCUA. So let's go through everything that's gone on today. D'Amico Ryans, he ruled out Stroud, Fairbairn, and Petrie. They might change the way they play defense without Petrie. I don't know if the quality of the defense really decreases outside of the over-romanticized type of stuff. Fairbairn, be interesting to see how that is handled, depending on how they handle third down and red zone. And then CJ Davis, we've already talked about that a lot. Question 1 that I have when it comes to this news about CJ Stroud is, when does Stroud come back? Does CJ Stroud come back Thursday? Do they wait till Indianapolis to where he has a 4-week break? Now, if he comes back against the Colts, that would give him 4 weeks of recovery from the time when he suffered the concussion to the time that he steps on the field the next place. That might be ideal. Last time he had a concussion, it was 3 weeks. And the other question is, did the Texans go beyond protocol? In other words, let's say that CJ Stroud passes protocol this week or next week, and he's good to go against Buffalo. Do they go beyond that to protect him and see if they can kind of tread water a little bit more with Davis Mills to where he can pass the torch for CJ Stroud? Now, let's pretend, though, Davis Mills wins the next 2 games. This is where it gets really interesting. What if Davis Mills beats the Titans and then he beats the Bills? What happens? Now, for me, CJ Stroud's your starting quarterback. He starts against Indianapolis, and you figure out what's going on with CJ and how he's going to handle his business against the Colts. That's how I would handle it. Do the Texans think about perhaps staying with Davis Mills? I don't think so, but it would be kind of crazy. Like if we're talking about a 3-game winning streak and you beat the Buffalo Bills, you just give it back to CJ? We're not talking about Patrick Mahomes or Josh Allen. We're talking about CJ. CJ's good. But if Davis Mills wins 3 games in a row, you just don't hesitate and you hand it back to him? I would. Would they? Don't know. I feel like Nick Caley does enjoy playing football with Davis Mills. Titans might be the most boring NFL team of all time. I can't remember in my entire 20-year career a time where a team has been more boring. When it comes to like breaking them down, quarterback, all that type of stuff, I cannot remember a time when I've ever seen a more boring team than the Tennessee Titans. There's nothing interesting about them. They have the number 1 pick in the draft. He is so uninteresting. Like Jamarcus Russell was the man. I love Jamarcus Russell. I think he's the man. Like he is. I like the way Jamarcus hates the cold weather. I like the way Jamarcus used to party. I like the way that Jamarcus talks. Any number 1 overall pick in NFL history, I'm more interested in than Cam Ward. I like Cam Ward. Seems like he likes football, all that type of stuff. What an absolute popcorn fart of a number 1 overall pick. What could it be a trap? We talk about the traps, the game last year with the Texans and the Titans, 2021, when the Texans were the worst team in the league coming off of a bye and they lost to the Titans, who were a 10.5-point favorite. We compare that. Could it be a trap? Perhaps. Who knows? Other question that we didn't really touch on today, can Caley adjust to a thin tight end room? Dalton Schultz is not only banged up, he's now sick. Harrison Bryant isn't practicing. Jakob Johnson is a tweener. Will he be able to adjust with the thin tight end room? My answer is I have no confidence in Nick when it comes to adjustments. Nick. So we'll just have to see. Your guess is as good as mine. I don't know. But he does seem a little bit more comfortable with Davis Mills. For some reason, he likes Davis Mills a little bit more. Other thing to keep an eye on when it comes to this Schultz thing and other injuries, is there potentially, because they play Thursday as well, is there potentially a proactive handling of injuries? In other words, Dalton Schultz is banged up. Do you think he can beat the Titans without Dalton Schultz and then give him an extra 4 days of rest to face the Bills? It'll be interesting to see how they handle that type of thing. I would do that. Like if I think Dalton is banged up and is going to have to gut it out against the Titans, you might have to play chess if you are them. Who knows? How alive is Mills Mafia? Feels like Mills Mafia is pretty strong. The CJ Truthers are alive and well as well. I feel like we should be able to embrace the gray area, but I don't know that gray area exists in football. I feel like the BS with other topics is kind of bled in to where you can't say Davis Mills has done a good job, and if Davis Mills does this and that, you can figure it out. Who knows? Anyway, appreciate everyone for rolling through. See y'all at Spanky's tomorrow. First 15 beers on me. I'm watering salad tomorrow. all day. Appreciate y'all for rolling through. Subscribe, like, right along. Always remember, when it comes to this Texan stuff, we're all in it together. Sleeper, get the free $20, promo code Locker. Let's go.
Angles what we really do. We the source, we the pulse of the city too.